Is that something we're all guilty of as an industry? We're all concerned about resolutions. We're forgetting what the end user experience is by and large. That no one cares about.
I think that's true. There is a perception, when you watch a 3D image, there is a perceived increase in quality because your brain is able to interpret it differently.
However, I'm convinced that once 3D has made more of its way into our industry or to the consumers, they will look for the quality.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Because today what dominates, and I did actually the same test with my boys, they are fascinated by the 3D impression. But then I think they will do what I do. I look into the faces and I say, well, there is some resolution missing at this point in time when it is transmitted in frame compatible. Mm-hmm. Yeah? So it has a lower resolution, and it is visible. If you look into the faces, HD looks better. But again, I think for the next time, for the near future, this 3D wow effect will dominate.
So in other words, we're looking for the equivalent of an iPhone 3GS. We're now on the first version of the iPhone. The revolution is going to work like that.
Yeah, and I'm actually quite confident that that will happen that way, because we already have at least some ideas how to transmit via satellite or terrestrial or cable the full resolution in 3D. We are still discussing about service compatible mode, so it's a different topic in itself, putting 2D, 3D in one transmission channel. But also the chip technology now is coming to enable, for example, the frame sequential transmission in full resolution, but that means new set-top boxes. So maybe in 5, 6, 7 years, these new set-top boxes will be brought to the consumers by the operators, and then the market will be ready for, full HD 3D, as some call it.
I think the other parallel, I think, with HD actually is that we're not just going to get 3D in bits from the broadcasters for sporting events. You know, 3D gaming is going to come into the living room and blow people away, and it's going to be a massive driver for 3D content. In the same way that, you know, Blu-ray was for movies, and then everybody wanted that in the television as well because they wanted that high definition. I suspect there'll be an element of that, you know, from gaming, from 3D movies, because of this 3D cinema explosion that's happened recently. That coming into the home, all of a sudden people will go, well, I can see that, I'm getting used to having that experience. Why can't I have that experience from television? But I still think it's going to be, that's going to be a slower uptake than it was with HD. But it's,
I think on the quality aspect, Blu-ray 3D will set the quality expectation, but I think frame compatible establishes the market, and it allows that litmus test for broadcasters to say, is this viable, and should we, you know, dedicate channels, have a download surface or so forth. But the establishment of Blu-ray 3D with full 1080p capability will set that Rolls-Royce standard in terms of what the expectation could be from live or VOD or Blu-ray. And I think that that is the very, very difficult challenge, because, as I'm sure Thomas will tell us, the relative merits in terms of additional bandwidth for offering anything beyond frame compatible mode are quite significant.
Yeah, we like that mode, of course, but I must say what is at the moment a huge advantage for the pay TV operators is that they can produce content, they can acquire content as they are doing. And if you look upon packaged media 3D, if I remember correctly, there are 6 Blu-rays in 3D out there, of which I think only 3 or 4 are available in the electronic stores, in the retail. So go somewhere, go to Dixon's, Curry's, Comet, etc. How many 3D Blu-rays can you buy? Would I invest as a consumer into the equipment?
Well, this
no.